at my for my 25th birthday, a friend of mine bought me a book which is called The Drama of the Gifted Child. I don't remember the author, it's Alice something. And then it was one of my first major conscience shifts in my life. Like, first of all, it took me around 2.5 years to finish the book, because every few pages that I've read, I've started crying, like it was too much for me. And only when I started the relationship with who is now my ex-wife, I had the courage to finish it, the last 20 or 50 pages. And while reading the book, I went at some point downstairs to the living room, sat on the couch with my parents. From my left side, my mother; on the couch on the right, another couch from the right, my father. And all of a sudden, I noticed that my father tells me something like, "Tal, tell your mother X, Y, and Z." And I noticed that I actually tell her. And then she told me, "Tal, tell your father X, Y, and Z," casually. And I noticed that I do it. And I all of a sudden got sick, like a nauseous feeling in my stomach and in this area that I don't know how to say it in English. And I just got up, went upstairs to my room and started like processing. And then I noticed that everywhere else in my life, I'm also acting as the middleman between some friends, between in the workplace, like that I help. I used to be a waiter at this time, or a waiter or a bartender, I don't remember, in a restaurant that I've worked in for 5.5 years, pretty much. And I noticed that I'm always the always like the one in the middle. And I panicked, because first of all, I panicked quietly because I didn't know how to communicate it, or if it's okay to communicate it. I didn't know what I'm going through. And second of all, I was just starting to ask myself, now I realize it, like, who am I? Like, why is this happening? Why doesn't it feel right? Where was I until now? And as the time passes, I understood that I was a very people-pleasing person, which is a term that I know it's very common to hear these days. However, it usually carries much deeper truth to it. I mean, it's usually beyond normal behavior, and even it rooted in a very deep, according to my experience personally and with clients, professional experience, like it's rooted in a very early and deep trauma, usually. And then as close the trauma or the event, never mind, to the core of ourselves, then it affects on the outside layers of ourselves, and eventually what is seen by the general people, if they notice, is what we call people pleasing. But it starts much deeper between ourselves and inside of ourselves, and it's a very self-destructive behavior and pattern and emotional state. I don't know if any of you that are watching or will be watching it can relate. I hope and I believe that you are. Then you probably feel it deep inside what I'm trying to say. And it was my first moment of some sort of awakening, you can say, that I noticed that something is different, and maybe it doesn't have to be like that, but I was terrified and petrified and had no idea what I'm going to do or how to do it. And I started going to therapy, and I remember that the goal, I told my therapist at the time, I told her that I'm coming because I feel, first of all, that I have a lot of intrusive and repetitive and compulsive thoughts. I didn't articulate it like this, but this was the main vibe or idea. She understood me, and it was the first time that I felt the professional actually understands me, because I didn't feel like this at all until then, that any adult almost in my life, except maybe from one uncle, can actually see me and understand me, and that I'm not completely transparent. And I told him, and I told her, my goal is that I will have the same voice and the same behavior everywhere I go, like to be authentic. I didn't say it authentic back then, but I told her I feel like every place I go to, I change my behavior and I change my character, and I don't want to do it. I feel like I'm lying while I say good morning. I feel like I'm lying while I smile or sad or I don't know what, but I don't want it. I feel suffocated almost all the time, and I want to be the same person. Of course, maybe not expose all of my sides and the depth and everything as is to everyone, but to be able to. And to choose my limit, this is the part I add now because I can articulate it better, to set boundaries in front of who I'm opening up emotionally without it affecting my authenticity. Like, I can say, I don't want to get into that, but it's still me being authentic. Then, even 2 years ago from now, I couldn't have said it. I would scramble between myself and try to, I don't know what, but I would not say something like, look, I don't want to get into that. It was too painful and too frightening to me. This is the level of anxiety I was. Anxiety, and it was like this 99.99% of my life, 24/7. And this is what was my goal. So I didn't even feel like me completely. I didn't even know what me means. I just knew that I wasn't that. And then that's when it started. Then that's when my never-ending journey to to reach myself and to be with myself and be myself started consciously. I felt like I had a lump somewhere here that I really want to release, and I can't. I feel like I can't. And this was my goal, just to feel the sense of relief, which I had no idea what it is. People all my life told me about several subjects. Tal, let it go, tal, let it go. I had no idea what it means. It sounded like Chinese to me. Like, what is it? What is it letting go? Like, what is this word? And in the former video, in the previous video, I said that I started investigating and researching since around the 2nd grade. It's true. However, important for me to emphasize that it wasn't conscious. I now know I took a conscious decision, or at least I paid attention to it, but I had no idea what I'm doing. I was just drilling in a survival mode. Now I know. I figured it out about 2 or 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago I think. It was just a Hail Mary survival mechanism. Just to find some sort of logic in a world that I didn't feel that there is any. Not safety, not sense, not logic, not empathy. I didn't know what to do. I felt like I didn't have place in the world. And it was my way to reframe everything so I can continue living. Until apparently, as I am now, I can be free and feel safe in my body and in my soul and in my mind again. So I can open up to myself and then open up to the world. But I didn't know how to articulate it like this. But it was important for me to say. It wasn't like a conscious decision. I thought it was. It was a conscious decision, but it wasn't a conscious process. Like, I didn't know what I'm doing. I just knew I had to do this, and I had to do it now, and I had to do it until what I want happens. This was my state of mind. Very powerful, very traumatic, very scary. Those moments, I will elaborate them more in other videos. And that's it. If you can relate, I strongly suggest that you continue listening and seeing the videos, because I try to be as open as possible, but I talk in layers because I don't want to deep dive to everything just like that. I want to reframe it like from the macro to micro. I think so. I'm translating myself as I go. And I believe in this formula in my life in general, and in my client's life, of course. I'm completely transparent. I truly believe in it. And this is why I'm here. As I said, like I don't believe that I can expect someone to be open in front of me and not at least give them the opportunity for me to be exposed as well, because we are all human, and the media and a lot of people, a lot of times, I remember when I started my business, they have this tendency, at least in my eyes, or at least this is what was I seeing selectively, I don't know, to show results and to show like this is what I am, this is who I am, come to me, ta 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 ta. I didn't like it because it didn't sit right in my mind. It made me feel, first of all, like a failure. Even when my logic say I wasn't, I felt like it, because I said, how can it be that people always succeed except me? This is how I felt. Of course, it's not true, but this is how I felt. And I remember, and then I moved forward, and I noticed, first of all, it's a marketing strategy and tactics, which is okay. Second of all, I said, I don't believe in it. Because when I was truly down, I needed something I can relate, and I needed something that can show me, that is understanding me, and has been where I've been. And I've been down, guys. I've been trashed, to say the least. Okay? Again, I will elaborate about everything in next videos. But I told myself I want to go and to show people, myself, friends, family, clients, you, regardless, to show the road itself, because things aren't starting in 100%. Never. We all start in, let's say, 0% of a certain stage of our lives, and we go from there. Babies start to crawl, not even, but let's say crawl, before they even learn how to stand up. Now we just walk automatically. We can just, most of us, fortunately, can go just stand up, sit down, on command. We weren't able to do it until a certain age. And when we grow up, we have this thing of trying to do something and giving up because of society and the society influence, and the system culture, which is okay, because it's systems that need to operate and they need people to do certain things, and it's okay, but it's one way and it's not for everyone all the time. So I'm here to show you that if you feel that, between the rest, to show you that if you feel like you want more from yourself and you can't reach it, maybe there are some sort of emotional blocks or beliefs, or blocking beliefs, limiting beliefs, okay, that are stopping you. And I believe that I will be able to help you dismantle them, because I've done it with a lot of people and the principles are the same. 99% of the time, at least from my experience, personal and professional, and research and everything. So don't stop being yourself ever, and sometimes the environment that you are in is not right for you, as I was. Like, I tried to make them understand, but not everyone can and not everyone won't. And there comes a time, I believe, that we need to choose, like, do I want myself and be true to myself, or do I want a connection with certain people? And what am I willing, that I'm paying a price that I don't like, and is it worth it? It's a process, it's not happening overnight, but I invite you to look at this question, if you can relate. And that's it. Feel free to write me in the comments if there is a specific topic you want, or to address something that I've said or that came up to you according to what I've said. and I will see you in the next video. And thank you for watching.